Hello, my friends. Today I'm gonna do a minimalist-ish apartment tour. And I say minimalist-ish because, as I've talked about pretty extensively in past videos, I used to be very extreme with minimalism. But as I've gotten older, I have sort of changed my approach to minimalism. I feel like it is important that we have connections to tactile, tangible things. With our world becoming increasingly digital, there's something really important about allowing ourselves to appreciate objects that were created by people with some sort of creative vision. The apartment that I live in right now is about 890 square feet, so it is a pretty small living space, and I share it with my partner. We both work from home, and I'm also in school from home, so this apartment serves a lot of different functions. Let me show you. So this is the largest room in my apartment. This half of the room is, of course, my bedroom. I sleep here. And the other half of this room is my office and my workspace. This is where I spend probably 90% of my time. I have a standing desk. I guess in order to deepen our parasocial relationship, I'm just gonna tell you everything that's in this room. I used to have a really big bookshelf. You've probably seen it in some of my previous videos. And it just felt really overbearing and out of place in this room. So I got these little IKEA shelves. I have some sketchbooks on the top shelf here. I also started a little side project where I've been compiling my favorite film photos after I get them developed, just so I can see my progress as a photographer. And I also have some of my music production gear. I've got my pen bag with all of my microns in there. I have a few rolls of film that I got developed that I still need to go through and scan in, so my scanner is on the shelf as well. And then of course there's just some like random stuff. I recently picked up a record player that I am quite excited about, but I made the silly mistake of not buying speakers, and I literally only own one record. One of my very first YouTube videos was me assembling this locker, and I love this thing. At the moment, I just have all of my books in there and then just some paperwork and that sort of thing, so it's kind of stuff that I don't immediately need, but things that don't make sense to get rid of. I think it's really important to highlight this vegan propaganda that's in my home. If you are considering going vegan or vegetarian and you want to talk to someone about it or ask for advice, feel free to let me know. I know some people get mad if you tell them that you're vegan, but I care a lot about animals. And I also weight train, so if you want to learn about veganism and you're worried about not getting enough protein and all those stupid stereotypes, feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. I'm gonna show you inside of my closet, and I don't want any of you in my comment section telling me that I'm a maximalist. I don't want to hear it. It's really not that bad. It's not that bad. Something that I would recommend if you are trying to find a balance where you're like, hey, I don't want clutter in my space, but I really care about fashion. My advice to you, not that you asked, would be to pick a color scheme. For me, obviously the color scheme is black. It's been kind of easy to maintain a smaller wardrobe. Again, I'm not saying that I have like a tiny wardrobe because, you know, I got some stuff in here. Something that I sometimes struggle with is I will get this brilliant idea to buy something that's not black. I'll get so excited and I'm like, I'm going outside of my comfort zone. I bought a green shirt and I wear it once, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm wondering why I bought it in the first place. Maybe you like lots of color, that's fine too. But for me, what I have found is that sticking to black feels the most authentic to me. On the top shelf, I have sweatpants, sweatshirts. I have a basket with like t-shirts and some gym shorts and stuff. I got my underwear up there, my undergarments. I don't need to show you my clothes. I have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 pairs of shoes, including the pair on my feet right now. I made this yoga mat, side table with my beloved loops. I made this. And I'm a member of the Satanic Temple. I made this. And my friend made this. So I guess the next thing I should show you is like our living room, kind of like hangout area. This area still feels kind of incomplete to me in some ways because I wanted to do like an art wall on the one side and then kind of have like, I don't know, just like a cozy, cool, modern nook. Something that I struggle with a little bit with designing spaces is that there are like two different sides of me. One is this kind of like dark, evil, gothic aesthetic. And then I also really love sleek, minimal, modern pops of color. Trying to find a balance between those two things can sometimes be a little bit difficult for me. But in this room, I wanted to invite more of a sense of play so that when we're hanging out in here, it invites creativity and just kind of like a lighter feeling. I made those. I've been kind of a bad plant parent, so please disregard the dying plant. It's really important to me that I'm surrounded by things that spark something for me. And I've talked about this previously about, design books and analog dopamine and finding sources of inspiration through tangible items. So over here, I have a number of books that, sometimes I just flip through if I want to look at some different fonts or if I want to look at different design approaches, things like that. So there's a number of cool books over here that I really do love. I'm also obsessed with this lamp. Look how cool this lamp is. Really, I just want this room to be like a fun, calm place to hang out in. So sometimes I just bring my computer over here while I'm editing videos for work. This couch is a piece of shit. It is. A couple years ago, my partner and I were at the peak of our extreme minimalism, and we had nowhere to sit in our apartment. There was a day when my parents came over to visit, and there was just nowhere for anybody to sit. And I think that was an eye-opening moment. So we bought this couch on Wayfair, of all places. We should have known better. We got it and we put it together, and it is not comfortable at all. Which is arguably a good thing in some sense because we don't spend too much time sitting on the couch, but we've been talking a lot about upgrading to something a little more comfortable. Hey, I'm Shiitake. I got these really cool shelves from Etsy, and then this is the wall that I have slowly been turning into an art wall. I love the idea of having a bunch of different small prints that are vibrant, fun colors. Just a pro tip, be mindful when you're purchasing art and try to buy directly from artists where you can. And there's more vegan propaganda in here too. This my plant, he's poisonous also. And listen, we will talk about the elephant in the room, which is the Labubus. I wanted lychee berry, and I have yet to get my hands on lychee berry, which is very irritating. I fell into the trap, and I'm not proud of it. This is where we make food. It's not fun in here. This kitchen, look how tiny it is. How do you even do anything in here? This place sucks. This kitchen is an atrocity. Why do I pay for a mini fridge? Look at this, it's nice, right? It's only basically coming out of the foundation. So this is where my partner spends the majority of his time. He also works remote, like I said, so he's usually in here taking calls, doing his thing. Ableton Push, Minilog XD, the Nymphess, a cool old reel-to-reel that he inherited from his family. His space is very minimal. It is nice being in a relationship with somebody who is very much so aligned with the same values and lifestyle. There's not really that much else to share with you. Again, like I said, the apartment's only 890 square feet, so it's really quite small. I have been storing a lot of my old panels and projects in this closet that's behind me. Sometimes I end up feeling temptation to just get rid of old pieces of art that haven't sold or that don't really speak to me anymore, but I'm trying to find the balance between just getting rid of things and holding on to things with the knowledge that they're connected to a part of my life that's important to sort of have a tangible representation of. I think this is probably the messiest part of our home. I have a bunch of panels down here. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7 panels in here. If I don't feel like displaying them, I don't want my whole house to just be an art gallery of my own work. Then we just have some boring odds and ends. We have a beach cooler and spare blankets. And I don't know that I've told you all this before on the channel, but my partner and I converted a Ram Pro Master van. We have a bed in there, and we built out a bench and solar panels and stuff. So the extra blankets and such are for the van. Jackets, camera bag. Oh, and I used to spin fire. So I have this old Helio staff back here. I used to swing this thing around all lit up on fire and shit. Every once in a blue moon, I get the urge to go light shit on fire and play. So I just don't see a point in getting rid of it right now. The very, very last thing that's not even worth sharing with you is my bathroom. You want to come in? You want to come into my bathroom? One area that I struggle a lot with minimalism is lip products. I love lipstick. I have some of my lip products up here on this shelf. I also am a huge fan of Heretic perfumes. This is Dirty Violet. It smells so, so good. It's really smoky and really wonderful. They're all plant-based. There's not really a whole lot in here that I feel compelled to share with you all. I do my makeup in here and I pee in here also. I know that this has been a really silly apartment tour. I'm just in a silly mood today. This space that I've spent the time kind of curating and putting together feels like a space that I have control in. And not to get super heavy or like philosophical about like a house tour, but I think there's a lot right now in the world that feels outside of our control. So it is especially important to connect with places that we feel safe in. So with all of that said, I hope that you find comfort in the spaces that you inhabit, whether it's your home or a place you just really like to go because you feel like comfortable and inspired in that space. So if you made it through this video and you watched me show you all the silly nonsense in my house, please consider subscribing and checking out some of my previous videos. And typically I just like to go on rants about creativity and talk about bigger ideas, and it's just kind of fun to do something lighthearted today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!